I was in class when my mother called. There was no one talking for a long time, only intermittent sobbing. I don't know why, but my heart was beating fast. Finally, my mother gathered enough strength to cry out, "Xiao Jiang, something happened to your sister." I immediately asked for leave, without even packing my clothes, and took a taxi to the station. "Mom, I'll be back right away. Don't worry. Tell me what happened first." My mother was sobbing and gasping for air, repeating over and over again, "Your sister was beaten." I called my sister, but no one answered. I called my dad, but no one answered either. My hands were shaking so much that I could hardly hold the phone. I typed in the picture on Weibo. The girl at my sister's school covered her face and huddled up, trying to hide her head in her stomach. The three perpetrators became even more excited. "You dare to hide, right?" They cooperated well. One of them sat on the girl, pressed her arms with her knees, and forcefully pried her hands apart. "One is responsible for taking pictures." A slap in the face. At this moment, I finally saw the face of the disheveled girl who was beaten. It was my sister. The girl was tired of playing and motioned to the person taking the photo. Then I heard an excited voiceover. "It's my turn. It's my turn." She took out a pen and drew a turtle on my sister's red and swollen face. My sister couldn't break free and let out waves of desperate howls. "Why are you like this?" one of the beasts said. "The two of them are just lowering their heads, and the one in the middle is sitting on my fruit box, playing with his nails out of boredom." When she saw me come in, she poked her companion, pointed at me, said something, and burst into laughter. "I'll fucking kill you." I picked up the kettle and rushed over, but was immediately held down. "Oh, that's right. The school takes this matter very seriously. We have severely criticized Betty and the others, and they have also promised not to do it again next time. Considering that they are first-time offenders, we hope that you—" "What do you mean?" I pulled away from his hand. "You want us to just let it go?" After I revealed my true feelings, the principal looked a little embarrassed. "To be able to solve a you forget my heat production we like in the lower left lower earth guideline." "Yes," Mom said. "Listen to Xiao Jiang. With him around, Tao Tao will be fine." Dad sighed heavily and walked away slowly. In his early years, he worked on a construction site and became disabled while carrying sandbags. His spine would hurt on rainy days. Now he is old and no medicine can help him, so he can only apply plasters to bear the pain. Looking at my father's hunched back, my nose felt sore and I couldn't say Tao Tao in my heart. I whispered, "Brother is coming in? I have the key to her room." Still no movement from inside. I had a bad feeling, so I found the key and opened the door. There was a strong smell of blood. The blood had stained a large area of the bed sheet. Tao Tao was lying on her back, with most of her body soaked in blood. There were several shocking scars on her wrists. Wound. "Tao Tao." I picked her up and ran out like crazy. "Mom and Dad." Tao Tao committed suicide by cutting her wrists. Every time the nurse went in and out, I was scared. I am 12 years older than Tao Tao. My mother gave birth to her when I was in 6th grade. Suddenly he laughed. Mom said with surprise. She was crying and making a fuss in the hospital, but she smiled as soon as she saw her brother. Tao Tao loves her brother so much. Only then did I feel that she wasn't that annoying after all. When Tao Tao was 3 or 4 years old, she liked to follow me. Every day when I came home from school, as soon as I opened the door, I saw her rushing over with her arms outstretched. I carefully put the milk on the table and asked, "Brother, what is a tail follower?" "I just like following others," she said proudly. "Then I am my brother's follower. When I grow up a little bit more, because of the heavy financial burden on my family, I want to drop out of school and work to earn money for Tao Tao's tuition." When I skipped class, my father caught me and made me kneel down and get beaten. Tao Tao stood in front of me and said, "Don't hit my brother." Dad threw away the belt and suddenly covered his face and cried. That was the first time I saw my father cry. He said he was useless and didn't provide good conditions for his 2 children. Later, Tao Tao said to me, "Brother, you have to study hard." I thought she was just going through puberty and didn't want to tell me everything. I should have discovered this sooner. Why didn't I see it sooner? The doctor finally came out. I went out to buy breakfast for my parents. When I came back, I saw the principal making a phone call at the corner of the hall. I heard that the kid committed suicide. Damn it, it's so troublesome. His thick lips moved up and down. The leader will come to inspect in a while, and this kind of thing happened again. Damn it, he could die at any time, but at this time. You should keep an eye on the reporters and make sure the news is blocked. This family has no background and it's easy to fool them. I threw the spicy soup over. He was so hot that he kept yelling, and when he turned around and saw me, he was stunned. There was another quarrel on the 2nd floor. I heard my mother's voice. "What do you want to do?" Betty's father came again, bringing with him a few tattooed young men from society. "Don't you just want some more medical expenses? What's the point of putting on an act? I'll give you an extra 1,000. Is that enough?" My mother said with red eyes, "Don't you have any conscience when you say this? My daughter is still lying there. Who wants your $2? No? That's great." Wang's father laughed. "Did you all hear that?" She said no. Not that I wouldn't give it to her. The father stamped his feet and cursed. "What a bunch of beasts! You old bastard! Are you scolding your father?" A young man pushed my father to the ground and said, "Keep your mouth shut." I rushed over and kicked him over. Try to touch my dad again? Then everything went black, and 2 people held my lower back and hit my spine hard. The hospital immediately fell into chaos. The nurse called the security guards, who took great pains to separate us. I was panting heavily, and the surge of adrenaline made me tremble all over. I really want to tear them apart. Father Wang straightened his collar and snorted. "My daughter is the best in the school." "Who is your daughter?" "I hit you, what can you do about it?" "The law will rule on her and she will pay as much as she should. Even if she goes to jail, I will delete her file tomorrow. Don't even think of taking advantage of me for a penny. You want to commit suicide? Go die." The principal stood aside, looking at us coldly. He finally gave up his pretense and turned away. Tao Tao woke up. She stretched out her little hand and gently wiped the corner of my mouth. There was bleeding there, but I didn't notice. "Brother," she cried, "have I caused you any trouble?" I held her cold hand tightly and said, "How come you are a problem for my brother?" "Tao Tao, if this world needs to give way to bad guys everywhere, then it is pushing good people to the edge of a cliff." I said, "I will definitely seek justice for you. It is not us who should get out of here with our tails between our legs." "But, brother, do you believe that you can do this, brother?" Tao Tao looked at me and nodded vigorously. From childhood to adulthood, she has always believed in me. "Tin," I said. "We've promised to do what we've promised, even if the sky falls." Almost in an instant, a vicious plan took shape in my mind, and I was trembling with excitement. I have never let Tao Tao down, not in the past nor in the future. Later, after Tao Tao fell asleep, I called my roommate Mark. After thinking about it, the only one who can help me is this rich 2nd generation. "Why? Do you miss your dad?" I tried hard to suppress the urge to scold him. "No kidding. Lend me some money." "Sure. How much?" 300,000. "What did you say?" His voice immediately rose an octave. "Have you been set up?" "Seriously, I need it urgently. I will definitely pay it back. It's not a matter of whether to pay it back or not." He paused. "You can give your land to me. Give me the address." I reported it, and Mark said, and hung up the phone. I was stunned for a moment. In my plan, Mark was an indispensable part, and I never doubted our friendship. This worry only lasted until the next morning. Mark, wearing a suit and sunglasses, stood at my door looking very showy. Fuck. You were running home in such a hurry? Did you get beaten? He looked at me with bruises all over my body and said in amazement, Tell me the truth. Did you hook up with a married woman and let her husband catch you in bed? There is not a single nice word out of his mouth. I gave a brief account of what had happened. As he listened, his expression became more and more unsightly. You should have asked me to come back with you the day before yesterday. I'll tear their heads off. I waved my hands. Let's not talk about this for now. Where's the money I want? In the car. Mark took me over and opened the car door. There were two burly men sitting inside. I felt like something had happened to you, so I specially came to you to pick you up. Two people were transferred from my dad's company. Look at their muscles. They used to fight in the ring. Mark raised his eyebrows proudly. How about it? That's nice, right? That's very nice. Just these two. Through the car window, Mark pointed at two girls who were shopping. I confirmed that they were Betty's two followers, so I nodded. Brothers, let's get started. The muscular man who had been waiting on the side came up to us flatteringly, holding a flyer. Big opening promotion. The latest Apple phone. Only 99 new Taiwan dollars with student ID. Two pretty girls. Would you like to know more? Seeing that they were still hesitating, the tough guy said, There's a lottery going on in the store. Go try your luck, pretty girls. It's free. This big piece of pie made them dizzy and they immediately followed excitedly. After going around in circles, as soon as they entered the store, the rolling shutter door slammed down with a bang. I sat right in the middle, watching their faces suddenly change color with a smile. Why is it you? What are you going to do? What? I pulled out the kitchen knife. The cold light reflected on their faces. Guess what I'm going to do? Faced with my approach, they kept retreating, and finally with a bang, they hit the wall with nowhere to retreat. If you kill us, you will go to jail too. A girl yelled. You will go to jail. I counted my shoulders. 1 for 2. I don't want it anyway. You. They finally realized that I really wanted to kill you, and screamed wildly. Help! Is there anyone? Help! I stood aside and let them scream to their heart's content. About 3 minutes later, their voices became hoarse and their hopes were dashed. Don't kill me. Betty ordered us to do this. If I don't bully Tao Tao, she will do it to us. Please, I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. They knelt on the ground, holding my legs on the left and right. I kicked them away one by one. Save these words for your own use. He chopped it off with one blow. Bang! The blade hit the wall, sending sparks. At the same time, a foul smell emanated. They actually peed. Mark pretended to have just woken up and yawned as he walked out of the inner room. It's so noisy. What are you doing, Lao Chen? Seeing the knife in my hand, she asked, Fuck, are you going to kill them? I said coldly, Don't worry about it. He reached out and took my knife away. Didn't we agree to leave him alive? He kicked the two little bastards in the head and said, Hey, are you two underage? Seeing that Mark wanted to save them, their eyes lit up and they nodded frantically. Yes, brother, we are minors. The next second, Mark's words made them feel like they were falling into an icy cave. That's good. The organs of minors can be sold for a good price. The sound of chopping meat came from the room at the right moment. Click! Click! Work more gently, I shouted. Are you afraid that others won't know you're killing someone? The sturdy man poked his head out, the knife in his hand still dripping with blood. Got it? Stop talking nonsense. Quickly take care of these two people. I still have to watch the game later. I looked at them trembling all over and their pupils dilated, and I felt extremely relieved. Mark is also shaking. What is he afraid of? No, he is about to laugh. I quickly pinched his lower back. He gasped, his face quickly turned red, and his smile was uglier than crying. Brother, she was the one who did it. I didn't hit Maria. They actually reported on each other. One pointed at the other and said sternly, She was the one who locked Maria in the bathroom. The one being pointed out was not to be outdone. "Fuck you, bitch!" She turned to me and said, "Brother, don't listen to her. She likes a boy in the class and is jealous that boy always chats with Maria. She is jealous and wants us to fight." Turns out it happened more than once. Just as I was about to grab her hair and slam her against the wall, Mark pulled me back and shook his head. "Be patient and don't ruin things." "It's not impossible for me to let you go," I said. They knelt at my feet, so excited that they wanted to kowtow. "Brother, I knew you were a good person. Good job." I turned on the camera on my phone. "Do to each other what you did to Tao Tao." One of them reacted first and slapped him in the face. The man who was beaten had his face swollen immediately. "Bitch, how dare you hit me?" She rushed over, grabbed her hair and fought back. She scratched her head, scratched her face, spitted on her, and slapped her. The two of them had a lot of fun fighting. Mark's eyes lit up, and the two sturdy men in the inner room also stretched their necks, watching with great interest. Soon, there was nothing good left in either of them. They couldn't fight anymore, but they were still grabbing each other's hair tightly, their eyes bulging. There is more or less some personal grudge involved. "It's not enough," I said. "Tear off Tao Tao's clothes." Upon hearing this, they immediately started fighting. His hands were weak, so he bit them with his upper teeth. Swish! Mark took a quick look and shook his head in disappointment. "No idea. Took more than an hour to record, that's about it." I opened the shutter. "Get lost!" They ran out madly, but fell down after a few steps, their faces hitting the ground. They didn't have the strength to stand up, so they crawled away. There were two long yellow and red marks on the ground. The red one was blood, and the yellow one was urine. TSK, that's so shameful. As expected, it took less than an hour. The little beast's parents came to the door with the police. We were eating ribs and he came up and punched me. They were the first to do it, without waiting for my greeting. Mark, who had been unable to contain himself any longer, picked up the boiling hot pork rib soup and poured it towards his face. The tough guy kicked each of the two middle-aged men, who couldn't help but get beaten, and almost lost everything. In less than 2 seconds, the two big beasts were lying on the ground howling. "What are you doing?" The police pulled us apart. "Are you treating me like I don't exist?" "He looks familiar. He is the one who came to my house to mediate that day." "Officer, they were the first to attack," I said. The big beast struggled to get up from the ground, holding his legs together, and said, "Officer, why are you just letting it go like this?" The policeman said sternly, "What else do you want? I will arrest him immediately if you have evidence." The big beast looked at the small beast, and the small beast shook his head. Mark saluted. "Thank you for your hard work, police officer." The police smiled and nodded. Post photos of two little bulls tearing each other apart everywhere. 2 seats were empty, and about 40 pairs of eyes looked at me excitedly. I certainly couldn't let the children down. He picked up the loudspeaker, turned on the computer, and played the ugly photos of the two little bastards one by one. "These two guys are just appetizers. I came here today to inform you." In the office, he threw the photo in front of me fiercely. "The surveillance camera is recording it." "Oh." I wanted to find a comfortable place to sit. After searching for a long time, his boss chair looked the most comfortable, so I pulled him up. I wanted to smoke, but I didn't want to smoke my own cigarette. I opened the drawer and saw a piece of Huazi. Wow, he really knows how to enjoy himself. Pull out a cigarette, light it, take a deep breath, and spray it on his face. "The fun has just begun, Principal. Don't be impatient." Paul, 20, graduated from primary school, used to work as a bricklayer, then went to work on a construction site with a relative who was a contractor. He was found to be dishonest and secretly reselling building materials. Then he went to the factory. Paul had a habit of playing cards, and he played mahjong all night in the chess and card room near his home. Small gambling may not be a pleasure, but it can definitely lead to drug addiction. Limited by his connections, no one has ever taken him to an underground casino. We spent 10,000 yuan to bribe one of his poker friends. Following our instructions, he kept losing money while playing cards with him. 500 on the first day, 1,000 on the second day, and 5,000 on the third day. I lose more and more, but my pocket is never empty. A week passed, and Paul couldn't help asking, "You got rich? Where did the money come from?" The poker partner said, "Then just forget about it. Aren't you happy to win money?" Then Paul kept asking him questions indirectly throughout the afternoon. The card-playing friends kept silent. Sure enough, I saw Paul following behind like a thief. An hour later, we put 30,000 yuan in our poker friend's pocket. As soon as he left, Paul jumped out and touched his pocket. "So much money. What did you do?" The poker player looked terrified. "Sure, don't make a fuss. Yi and I are the winners. We've been waiting all day, and once we see someone take the bait, they'll make us lose." Paul was very cautious the first time and only brought 3,000 yuan with him. The casino owner waved his hand and let him take home 30,000 yuan he won. His eyes immediately turned red. After the first time, there will be a second time and a third time. The boss let him win money continuously, 50,000, 60,000, 100,000, and the most he won in one night was 150,000. Paul became more and more daring and started to bet a minimum of 100,000 yuan. I did some calculations and found that the 300,000 yuan I gave to the boss had already been spent. I asked my boss, "Aren't you worried that you won't be able to get it back?" The boss smiled and said, "If you want to hook the gambler, you have to give him enough sweetness. There is sweetness at the beginning, but bitterness at the end. If you sit at the gambling table like this, you will end up being the king but not the king. It's my turn." Tao Tao's wound has almost healed. During this period, the Wang family never came to visit once. We didn't take the initiative to ask for medical expenses, so they really didn't come. How shameless. But it doesn't matter. I'll skin them alive right away. "Brother, my classmates are talking about you." What did you say about me?" "They said you were so brave and they all envied me for having a good brother." I felt really happy to hear that. They were often bullied by Betty, but no one stood up for them. "Teacher, don't you care?" Tao Tao shook her head. "Betty's grades are very good," so the teacher turned a blind eye. Indulgence is another form of bullying. I sneered, "Don't worry, Tao Tao. There will be no Betty in the school soon." "Ah, brother, what are you going to do?" "Go and act in a play," I said. Before knocking on Wang's door, I opened my selfie camera. My face was unwashed, my beard was unshaved, and my hair was messy. I didn't think I looked miserable enough, so I tore a few small holes in my shirt. "Why is it you?" Paul was in high spirits now, looking well-dressed. I could tell at a glance that she wanted to strangle me, but she was too short. If she stood on tiptoe, her momentum would be weakened, so she gave up. He looked at me fiercely and said, "You are all good at pretending. Maria pretends to be innocent and you pretend to be cruel. Aren't you good at pretending? Why can't you pretend anymore?" When it comes to decoration, Paul is the expert. He went to the bedroom, took out a wad of banknotes and threw it on the table. "Did you see that? I have plenty of money. Have you ever seen so much money as a fruit vendor?" I was silent. "Give it to you. I'll give the money to Lu Shuai instead of giving it to you. The sea is still more than enough." The father and daughter were crying and shouting. I slapped them one by one, and when I was satisfied, I spat and left. Before I went downstairs, I heard Paul screaming like a pig being slaughtered. "I'm going to kill your whole family." So scary. Paul was particularly lucky today. Kill all opponents at the poker table. In just over 2 hours, he won more than 200,000 yuan. As a result, no one at his table dared to play with him. Of course, this was all arranged by the boss. The dealer is a thousand-handed one. Those who play along are just extras. The atmosphere is set, It's your turn, Mark said with a sly smile. Bear with it. Then he kicked me in the chest. Damn it, you dare to cheat. The kick was so strong that it almost knocked me out. I didn't cheat. I yelled. You guys are dishonest and won't let me take the money away. The boss came over quickly, rolled up my sleeves, and took out the playing cards inside. What the hell is this? Huh? You're playing this on me. Little thing. I'm already at the poker table when you're still nursing. With a sudden push, I crashed onto the card table, and it fell to the ground with a loud crash. Hit me. Paul squeezed in, and when he saw me, his eyes lit up. What's going on? Boss Wong, the boss said disdainfully, holding a cigarette in his mouth. This little bastard cheated right under my nose. Ha ha. Paul was overjoyed, squatted down and patted my face. You finally fell into my hands. Boss Wong, do you know this man? The boss said, I will definitely give you face. If you know him, take him away. I know you so well. Paul gritted his teeth. Even if the cheating part is not counted, I still have more than 20,000 yuan left. I have to take this money away, I said. Fuck it. Do you believe me? The boss was about to stomp him down. Paul stopped him and said, It's not easy for this kid either. Just give him the 20,000 yuan. The boss stopped and said, Boss Wong has spoken. So the 20,000 yuan will be considered as a gift from me. I got up and went to another table to place my bet. The boss yelled, How dare you play? I want money, I said through gritted teeth. Paul narrowed his eyes at me and said, Why don't we have some fun? This kid is not honest. The boss waved his hand and two strong men came over. He ripped my shirt off. Let's see how you can cheat. This isn't in the script. I turned around and saw Mark and the tough guy in the crowd covering their mouths to stifle laughter. Can you please turn off the air conditioner? It's so cold. Everyone gathered around to watch us play cards. Paul held a cigarette in his left hand and a goblet in his right hand, and said pretentiously, What are you playing? I'll play with you. Poker, I said. Paul put his hand down and said, Deal the cards. Damn, he's really good at pretending. Under the dealer's operation, I had 5 and he had 6, I had a big K and he had a big A, I had 3 and he had 3. In short, he always has 1 foot above me. At the end of the game, he was too lazy to turn over his cards and asked me to turn over his cards. Soon, I lost all my 20,000 yuan. Impossible. You are cheating. How is it possible that I can't win at all? I jumped up and pointed at him and cursed. The boss immediately suppressed me. Do you think everyone is like you? Boss Wong is a famous gambling god here. Paul pretended to be modest. The kid has never seen the world. Don't bother with him. I collapsed on the ground, trying hard to act completely hopeless. Do you want to borrow some money? Paul said with a smile. I'll lend it to you and we can play a few more games. I wouldn't lend you any money even if I wanted to. I stretched out my hand to the boss. Give me some money. The boss sneered. Why should I give it to you? I can give you my kidney, I said. The boss narrowed his eyes. Are you sure? How much can you give for 1 pill? 150,000. Is that all? If you want it, please. Okay. So his subordinates brought the donation agreement. I signed it neatly. 300,000. Wait. Paul called to his men. Boss, can I buy his kidney? I'll pay another $100,000. It's really going to kill me. The boss's eyes sparkled. Boss Wong, my channels are worth more than 100,000. Add another 200,000. No, 300,000 will do. The boss sneered. Deal. With a flourish of his pen, he wrote down a promissory note for 600,000 yuan. I held on to these 300,000 for 2 hours. In order to avoid Paul's suspicion, the winning and losing ratio was 3-7. When I lost the last stack of money, the smile on Paul's face became more ferocious. Your kidney, I want it now. The boss frowned and said, Boss Wong, There is no medical care here. We can't preserve the organs even if they are taken out. You are at a disadvantage. Boss, I just want to dig out this kid's kidney myself. Paul found a knife and came over. You little bastard. When I was wandering around in the underworld, you didn't even know where you were. You want to fight me? Two men came over and held down my hands and feet. As the blade was about to slice open my stomach, I yelled, "Wait! I still have money." What money do you have? My house is still worth more than 1 million. That lousy fruit shop? It's going to be demolished soon, so we can get several apartments. You mean, Paul raised his eyebrows? To continue playing? Play. I want to win them all back. Clang. The knife fell to the ground. Paul smiled and said, "Then I'll accompany you till the end. This time it's a one-handed bet." I said, 1,200,000. I'm all in. Paul hesitated. When the dealer dealt me the cards, he deliberately turned over the last card. And it was a. According to the rules, you can ask for a replacement for a card that was accidentally turned over. But I didn't. Paul's hand was 3 kings. Even if there were 3 of me, I couldn't beat him. He was overjoyed. I'll follow whatever you bet. The boss said, "Boss Wong, your old neighborhood is not worth 1.2 million. It's worth 700,000 at most. Then write an IOU for 500,000. I don't believe you can beat me every time." I yelled, like a madman, "My cornea, plus 100,000. Do you want to follow me? And my liver, 300,000. Do you want to buy it? Yes. My father's kidney, my mother's kidney, and my sister's. I am such a filial son. 1.5 million. Do you want to buy it? And we raised the stakes until we had a thick stack of IOUs on the table. Okay, then let's decide life and death. I turned over the remaining 2 sheets. 3 leopards. I don't believe you can beat me. Paul sneered. You little bastard. Your whole family's lives are mine. Look carefully, what kind of card I am. Exclamation point. JQK. Straight flush? I said, I win. Paul's smile froze on his face. He turned the cards over and over until they were almost worn out. Impossible. I am the triple K. You are cheating. You are cheating. He jumped onto the table and tried to hit me. The tough guy knocked him down with a sweeping kick. There are so many eyes watching us. The boss said, Xiao Wang, do you want to cheat? He finally understood. You guys set me up. You guys teamed up to deceive me. He wanted to overturn the gambling table, but unfortunately his muscles were too weak and he failed. You were the one who wanted to gamble with him. And now that you lost, you're accusing me of setting it up? The boss sneered. Ask them. Is there any truth to this in the world? Everyone shook their heads in unison. No. 2 strong men quickly controlled him. Let's settle the bill and see how you pay it back. In the end, after deducting the house, Paul still owed his boss nearly 3 million. I found a blanket and wrapped myself in it, finally warming up a bit. Then I ran over to add insult to injury and said, Xiao Wang, you've been around for many more years than I have, but you haven't learned anything. Another slap in the face. Can a single slap make a loud sound? Ha! 7 or 8 strong men rushed into Wang's house, beating and smashing things. The house was more lively than when firecrackers were set off. Paul sat in the middle of the sofa, with 2 big men on each side, squeezing him like a small bean sprout. Betty was so scared that no, the dog. No, the maggots are horrified. Plus, there is still one account to be settled. Tomorrow the leaders will come to your school for inspection. I said, I think you are a student representative. Are you going to give a speech? Betty nodded humbly. Well, it happened to be the 60th anniversary celebration, and I was arranged to be the first one. Okay, I'll write a speech for you. Just read it tomorrow. She took it and just read the first sentence. She was shocked. This? If you do this, the debt between your father and me will be written off. How about that? Paul finally found his spirit. Promise him. If he asks you to call him Dad, just agree to it. I want a woman like this. Betty didn't dare talk back. The 60th anniversary celebration of the school was accompanied by the blast of firecrackers and the beating of gongs and drums. The leader entered on the red carpet, with the principal following behind him. His hair was combed particularly neatly today. It was obvious that he spent a lot of money on a wig. Even his forehead was shiny. More than 2,000 students from more than 50 classes in the grade admired his big oily hair through the projector in the classroom. He finished his opening remarks with bullshit. Flowers, applause and cheers continued for a long time. The atmosphere is so good. Don't make such a fool of yourself. I said into the headset, just smile. So Betty forced a smile, and no one noticed her abnormality. The principal said with great emotion, now, please invite Betty to give her speech. I admire Betty very much. She is not only excellent in academic performance, but also respects teachers and elders and is very honest. As the saying goes, it takes 10 years to grow a tree and 100 years to educate a person. The biggest dream of us gardeners is to cultivate a student like Betty. I am very lucky to have taught such a proud student in my teaching career, and I have no regrets in my life. Next, let's welcome him with applause. In front of the computer, Mark was almost dying of laughter. Under the principal's greasy yet loving gaze, Betty walked stiffly to the microphone and took out my speech. On this day of celebration for all general schools, I am very honored to share with you my insights into life. Louder, I said. Didn't you eat? Then she shouted loudly, I want to thank the old beast, the principal. He trained a little beast like me. As the saying goes, if the top beam is not straight, the bottom beam will be crooked, and the shit in the cesspool will pile up. He despises the poor and loves the rich, and I bully my classmates. He is fat and bloated, and I am crazy. I beat a classmate into the hospital, but he said it didn't matter because I was the first. Even if he killed the person, he could help me suppress it. Plus, when did I say? The principal was so anxious that he was about to jump up. Exclamation point. The audience was in an uproar. Some were whistling, some were screaming, and the security guard came on stage to grab Betty's microphone. In the chaos, the leader left with a gloomy face. Keep going. Don't stop until you've finished, I said. She dodged and said, the biggest characteristic of our principal is selfishness. He has a bigger face than a pig, but he always doesn't care about his own future. He doesn't care about the life and death of students at all. I met this kind of principal. It's like a dung beetle falling into the toilet, meeting an old friend in a foreign land. The security guard subdued her. She cried and said, I have done what you asked. I hope you can do what you promised me. Of course it's no problem, I said. It's not my money your father owes you anyway. You bastard. Hey, where are you going? Mark said, it's so exciting. Why don't you watch it for a while? No. I took my coat. Tao Tao is being discharged from the hospital today. I need to pick her up. It was a nice day today, with the warm sunshine shining brightly. Brother, I'm fine. Tao Tao jumped up and down. Are you really okay? Turn around so I can see. Tao Tao turned around as she was told, and the hem of her skirt looked like blooming petals. Miss Maria, are you ready to embrace your new life? I'm ready. Let's go. Tao Tao jumped on my back. Let's go. Postscript. Mark bought some internet trolls that day, and Betty's speech video quickly became a hot topic on all major platforms. The principal couldn't suppress it even if he wanted to. Oh, he was fired half an hour after the incident. It seems that there are also lifestyle issues anyway. The underwear has been stripped off completely. Wang's parents became slaves of the casino owner. One dropped out of school to work, and the other went to work in the mines. If anyone dared to run, his legs would be broken. As for the two little followers, their incontinence problem could not be cured. I transferred to another school, but no matter where I transferred to, everyone knew that they were bullies. I have never seen such a shameless person. More reviews ground. It can be regarded as a way of giving someone a taste of their own medicine. As for me, there were some unexpected gains. The popularity of the video lasted for a long time. My deeds were quickly exposed by netizens. A failed author named Lee Yunjo wrote a novel based on me, which caused quite a stir. "This story is perfect," he said. "It would be even more perfect if my dear readers would give me a thumbs up." I actually became an internet celebrity. At the request of countless netizens, several live broadcasts were held, and the screen was full of comments about a brother's revenge. The live broadcast was very popular and profitable. In just a few months, he made $300,000, which he gave back to Mark. It wasn't until an organization approached me to hype up a CP and sell a persona that I realized something was wrong and ran away. Tao Tao did not transfer schools. The new principal took good care of her. She is healthy both physically and mentally, and her academic performance is improving steadily. One day, she asked me, "Brother, why didn't you ask me why they bullied me?" I said, "Because I don't like making excuses for the abusers while being the victim. The reason is picked on the person." Plus, she then said, "Brother, do you still remember the time when we made a pinky promise when we were little?" "Which one?" "You said you would study hard, find a good job, and marry a good wife, right?" "Yes, that's true. What's the matter?" "But Li Mingho said you failed several courses this semester."